أرضك يا كل مناها، كل الأشياء تسائل عنك فأنت فتاها. أحبابك أصحابك أرضك يا كل مناها، يتمنى حتى
You imagine at the point of the transfer when you're about, all the lataifs that are going to be extinguished, and then you're left with just the golden breath. At that point you're going to be, and the spirit, at that point you will be visualizing, imagining, formulating the spiritual body of the sheikh, of this teacher, and then you'll blow your spirit into the teacher's spiritual body, and it's through that, then after that you then find the teacher, as per normal, as per usual. So what's the scene, what's the manzar, what are the scenes that you need to go through? Just a quick reminder is that imagine you going through the skies, flying through the skies and going back to the time of the night of 10th of Muharram. How would it like? So you should imagine, here it's all about creating the scene within your heart and creating the emotions of what you will feel, of what will be felt. So the night, well, how did the clouds feel? How did the winds feel? How did the earth feel? How did the dust feel? How did the air feel? What were they saying? What were they doing? What were they thinking? All of those emotions should get put into scene. So you go to the night, what you're going to do, you go into the night scene. Imagine the wind blowing the blessed face of Sayyidina Imam Hussainiyah, and what were they feeling? What were they saying? This is the last time they'll blow on the blessed face. The moon, this will be the last night in which they will see the blessed Mubarak of the Sayyidina Imam Hussainiyah. The clouds, I mean, like I was saying yesterday, do you not think the earth would want to take and crush the people? Do you not think the winds would want to actually grab Sayyidina Imam Hussain and take him to a safer land? Do you not think that the winds would want to destroy the army? All of those creation Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have done it, but it wasn't the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So understand this, that what are they feeling, what are they thinking? Then you'll see that there's a light which is coming, like you're seeing here, a light is coming and emanating from Sayyidina Imam Hussain. We then go towards there, basically the night of the tent, the light is coming from the tent. Then we go towards the daytime, the Battle of Karbala. Again, some of you may spend your time at the night with Sayyidina Hussain in the tent, what they were doing, the worshipping, the crying, the weeping, not for themselves but for the people themselves and also for the ummah and so on. So then we're going to quickly move to the scene of the day and the Battle of Karbala, the 10th of Muharram, how it happened, the army sieging the camp of Sayyidina Hussain and Sayyidina Zaynab and others, the whole family of the Ahlul Bayt. So again, you should be thinking what was going on, what's happening, how is it happening, what would you do then? If you were there, what would you be doing? Would you be defending? Would you be trying to fight the army, or would you be running away? How would you actually want to help Sayyidina Imam Hussain? Again, create the emotion, create the scene. People see their own state at that time due to the amount of love and affection that they have for Sayyidina Imam Hussain. After that, what you're going to do, so from the night scene you go to the day scene, from the day scene you come back to the present time at the Mazar of Sayyidina Hussain, his blessed grave, and you're going to imagine that you're in front of our beloved you're in front of the grave with holding the hands of a beloved teacher. There is a beautiful radiant light which is emanating from the grave of the Mazar of Sayyidina Imam Hussain, and then what you're going to imagine is that your teacher, the guide, will be taking you by the hand and taking you inside the blessed grave of Sayyidina Imam Hussain. And those of you who've been to Iraq, inshallah it'll be easy for you to focus on the grave. You know how the grave looks like, you know how the mazar looks like, and you should be able to inshallah imagine that. And you did this, you could say live at their own blessed grave as well. So those of you who are doing this for the first time, just try to look at this picture, as you can see the scene, so they'll help you with at least on the thought level and imagination level, you can actually help you to actually gain that. So once you go through the light inside the grave, imagine that you're inside a white courtyard and you can see the bright light walking towards you. So blessed light is going towards you, and then you should imagine and feel that Sayyidina Hussain is walking towards you. Their presence becomes more apparent, the light and the fragrance, the aroma. So all that is doing is that, you know, sometimes when you're eagerly waiting for somebody, for those lovers out there, you'll know, and those people. Let's say, for example, there's a fragrance that the person is attached to. There's a whiff of smell which actually comes, and automatically you think it's that person. So, but you've not seen them, and that's how the Prophet ﷺ was. Is that he went because his blessed sweat and his blessed sweat from his blessed Jism Mubarak used to emanate fragrance from his blessed sweat. So what happened? Wherever he walked, the companions would know that the Prophet walked past this area. So imagine this personality, such a pure personality which is coming, that what aroma, what fragrance that would have because of not just light, but this beautiful scented fragrance which is emanated from this blessed personality, that just to smell, it will trigger the fact that you're in their presence. The light will trigger that they're in their presence. The warmth will trigger you that there's something here. Then you should see, here again it's about adab, see the blessed feet Mubarak. So in other words, that humble yourself, have yourself lowered, look down, don't look up but look down. What you're slowly doing is that you're starting to see the blessed feet Mubarak, then the legs Mubarak, and then the chest Mubarak. You try to then see and analyze what they're wearing. Then you focus on the blessed features like the beard Mubarak, the lips, the nose, the eyes, and also the amama and the chadar, whatever they're wearing. And then focus on the blessed personality and the presence, the full feature of Sayyidina Hussain. After that, if you wish, if you can, give salam to Sayyidina Hussain. If you're able to meet any other personalities, give salam to them and wait for the reply. Some of you may get a nasiha, some of you may get the salam, may reply the salam, some of you may not. Some of you, they may come walking towards you, embracing you. Some of you may not get that. Some of you will actually, other things will be told to you, other things will be shown to you. Whatever you are shown, whatever you are given, whatever action it is said, it is your betterment. It's for your goodness, it's for your betterment. All our job is, like I said yesterday, relate. Okay, what are you going to do? Relate. What is everybody going to do? MashaAllah, that's good. MashaAllah, I know you're awake today. At the end of the meeting, then what you do, as soon as you've been told, you give your salam to Sayyidina Hussain or any of the members who are there, any of the personalities and the mashayikhs, and then seek permission, come back to your physical body again, unconscious. Okay? Is that clear? So the scene, I repeat again, what we'll do, we'll take you up, we'll do the cleansing of the lataif collectively, and as soon as it transfer, this time you'll be on your own now. You'll transfer on your own, and then you go to the scenes. You go to from the scene from nighttime Muharram, the 10th of Muharram at nighttime before the battle. What was the scene like? Then you go to the battlefield, the day of Muharram, 10th of Muharram, and then you bring yourself back to the mazar of Sayyidina Hussain, the present day, with a beloved teacher in front. And then light is coming from the blessed grave. You enter the light, go in, meet the best personality, slowly say light is coming, feel the presence of Sayyidina Hussain, then slowly seeing the blessed features, then give your salam, inshallah. Okay? Are we all clear on that, yes? Okay, so inshallah what we'll do is first we'll start with the intention that this is purely for the sake of Allah until we're doing, and nothing else. These are blessed days and nights of 9th and 10th of Muharram, and then what we'll do is the amounts for protection, because we need protection when we go to the spiritual world. And then collectively we'll recite 1 time Surah Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi once, 3 kuls, and then we'll blow on our palms of hand, rub it all over the body. Then enter the 3 states of heart and mind, of humbleness, of thankfulness, and of reliance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After which we'll recite the beginning amals, which is Bismillah ar-Rahman once, 3 times Astaghfar, 3 times Durood, 3 times La Hawla wa La Quwwata Illa Billah. And then after that, we'll then start the process of Lataif cleansing, the initial part, then cleansing of all the Latifas, then the transfer. After that, you'll be then left in your own device, how to sojourn yourself through the manzils and the scenes that we actually said. One quick reminder, remember this, is that it's not all about seeing as such. try to attain the nasiha from these blessed personalities so that you can apply it into your life. Remember what we said nasiha means. Nasiha is that today, yesterday, today, you need to know your next step, how to progress. How to progress from the current step you're in to the next step, so you can be more closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, closer to the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, closer to our beloved teacher, how you can become more enlightened, how you can free yourself from the shackles of shaitan and nafs, even more so. So this is nasiha. And then the real benefit is that after you come back from the nasiha is to implement that into your life so that it becomes a real reflection of the teaching of Sayyidina Hussainiyah. Okay, inshallah. So now if you gather your thoughts and bring in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us, He's watching us, He's seeing us, He's hearing us, He's with us with all His sifat and qualities. Now we'll recite the amals of protection, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسي السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس بسم الله بسم الله Now bring in the three states of heart and mind of humbleness, that indeed that we cannot worship Allah as He deserves to be worshipped. The unfortunate thing is that nor are we even trying and putting our full efforts in. So we seek forgiveness, but also that, Ya Rabbal Alameen, we are full of sin from head to toe, that we're not even trying to actually make effort, Ya Rabbal Alameen. That's how weak we are. Bringing the state of thankfulness that despite all this weakness that we have, yet still He's benefiting us, He's blessing us, He's given us an ample opportunity again and again and again. And this night is another opportunity to spend time in His house, in the presence of His beloved friend and beloved people, doing beloved deeds. One cannot thank enough. And now bring the state of reliance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I know nothing, I don't know anything, I don't have any powers, I don't have any intellect whatsoever. Now what I do is I completely rely upon You, Ya Rabbal Alameen. I rely upon Your power, I rely upon Your abilities. I don't rely upon myself, not how much deeds I have done, not how pious I am, not how sinful I am, nothing. I just rely upon You, Ya Rabbal Alameen. That I rely on Your fadl, that You are the one who will take me, You are the one who will make me meet these blessed personalities. Now just repeat after me. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Astaghfirullah, 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 Alladhi la ilaha illa الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه اللهم يا ربي بجاه نور وجهك الكريم وبفضلك العظيم اجمع بيننا وبينك في الدنيا قبل الآخرة اللهم يا ربي بجاه سيدنا محمد ابن عبد الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم اجمع بيننا وبين سيدنا محمد ابن عبد الله في الدنيا قبل الآخرة اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين، خصوصا على سيدنا إمام حسين وعلى شهداء كربلاء عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته، لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله، لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله، لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله، لا إله إلا الله، لا إله إلا الله، لا مقصود إلا الله، لا مطلوب إلا الله، لا مسجود إلا الله، لا إله إلا الله، الله 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 Now inshallah bring in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with me, is seeing me, is hearing me. Imagine the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is beautiful, lit up high above in the sky, illuminating the whole sky, white in color. And as you breathe in through the nose, you breathe in, white light is coming down from the blessed name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and is coming down to your head, filling your whole of your head and your body. Every single part of your body is being filled with light, and as you breathe out through the lips, through your mouth, all darkness, anxiety, stress, worries, sins, all of that is exiting from the mouth. So breathe in, take some deep breaths in. The light is filling your whole body, and as you breathe out, all worries, release all those tensions, all the stress, all the sins from the mouth. Now, keeping the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, imagine the beautiful name of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is red in color and it's illuminating the sky in the red. This beautiful red light is coming down from the name of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and as you breathe in, the light is going all the way down, entering through the nose, and then as you take this light down, as you're breathing in, you take the light down all the way down to the red latifa, which is based below your belly button, below your navel, and as you breathe out, it's energizing the red latifa, activating it, cleansing it, and then it exit from the light will exit from the back. So the name of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is red in color, will hit the red latifa, which is below the navel. Now imagine the blessed name of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is orange in color. An orange light is coming down from the blessed name of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And as you breathe in, the light enters through the nose, goes all the way down to the orange latifa, which is based on your navel, belly button area. And as you breathe out, it's energizing, cleansing the orange latifa and exit from the back. So the name of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is orange, hitting the orange latifa, which is based in your navel, belly button area. Now imagine the name of Allah SWT, the beautiful name of Allah SWT is yellow in color, and this beautiful yellow light is coming down from the blessed name of Allah SWT. And as you breathe in, enters through the nose and hits the yellow latifa, which is above the navel bottom, the stomach area. And as you breathe out, it's energizing, cleansing the latifa and exiting back of the stomach. So the name of Allah SWT is yellow, hitting the yellow latifa, which is in your stomach area. Now imagine the blessed name of Allah SWT is beautiful green color, high above in the sky. And this beautiful green light is emanating, coming down from the name of Allah SWT. And as you breathe in, it goes to the nose and it goes all the way down to the green latifa, which is based in your chest area. And as you breathe out, it's energizing, cleansing the green latifa and exiting from the back of the chest. So the name Allah SWT is green color, hitting the green latifa, which is in your chest area. Now imagine the blessed name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is light blue in color, and then this light blue color is emanating from the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala coming down as you breathe in through the nose, goes all the way to the light blue latifa, which is on the throat area. As you breathe out, is energizing, cleansing the light blue latifa and exit from the back of the neck. So the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is light blue color, and it's going to the light blue latifa, which is in your throat area. Now imagine the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is dark blue in color, indigo color. And this time what you'll do is that the name is emanating, there's a blue, dark blue color coming down from the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as you breathe this time, the light will hit directly the dark blue latifa, which is on your forehead area. And then as you breathe out, you'll enter the exit from the back of the head. So this as you breathe, it will hit directly the dark blue latifa, which is in your forehead area, and you'll exit from the back of the head. Now imagine the blessed name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is white in color. And again, beautiful white light is going to the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as you breathe, it's going directly hit the white latifa, which is above the head. And as you breathe out, it's energizing, cleansing the white latifa and exit from the back of the latifa. So the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is white in color, hitting the white latifa, which is above the head. Now we're going to get ready for the transfer. Imagine the beautiful name of Allah is white in color. Light is now coming down from the name of Allah. As you breathe in, this light is entering and striking all the latifas, energizing them, lighting them, and your whole body is being filled with light. As you breathe out, it's filling more with light. Breathe in, fills more with light, and it's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, and you expand like a balloon. So do this for a while, and inshallah Aziz, slowly your body will start disappearing, and so on and so forth. So just breathe in and breathe out as normal. Imagine the light is entering and filling up the whole body, energizing all the latifas and enlightening all the latifas. Your bodies are getting bigger and bigger, and slowly they'll start to disappear. You're feeling lighter. Slowly now your feet is starting to disappear. Your legs are disappearing. And now your chest is disappearing, your arm is disappearing. Your whole body is now disappeared. Now what's remaining is just the latifas, your breath and the spirit. So one by one the latifa will extinguish, turn off. Keep on breathing. The red has disappeared. Orange, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue, the white. All the latifas are now disappeared. Now what's remaining is the breath and the spirit. At this point now, make the image, the spiritual body of our teacher Shaykh Mutabaq. Create the spirit, the spiritual body of our teacher in front of you. And then when we give you the go ahead, blow your spirit into the spiritual body of the teacher, and then you transfer and find the teacher and go on your journey. So keep on breathing. When you are ready, transfer and take that breath. Find the teacher, and now go with the teacher on your journey to meeting Sayyidina Imam Hussainiyah. Now it's up to you. I'll give you 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so on this part. Remember the nice scenes, and then how it was like the night on the Battle of Karbala in their tent, and how it's like in the daytime during the battle. Then coming to the mazar, the grave, blessed grave, Sayyidina Imam, you're with the teacher, and then entering the light and finding and being in the presence of Sayyidina Imam. Those of you who are more advanced, obviously, try and seek and see her guidance, which you can manifest into your life from that. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alayk. Assalamu alayk. Assalamu alayk. Ya Jadda Hasan wa Hussain. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Now inshallah just give you salam and take permission from where you are and slowly bring yourself back to your consciousness, your physical body. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Now if I can kindly request our honorable teachers who are there, Mr. Shalam and also Mr. Abdul Rahim, if you can please come to the front and we'll take some feedback from your brothers, inshallah, to some of your feedbacks and their experiences.
Brothers would like to offer their feedback, please raise your hands rather than us having to choose somebody. If you would like to volunteer first.
There should be no offering. Everybody, what were you supposed to do? Brothers, what are you all supposed to do?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So the Lataif cleansing was
First of all, just mention who you are and where you're from, and then
my name's Atiq. I'm from Blackburn. So the Lataif cleansing was final, alhamdulillah, then transferred into the teacher and then began the journey. So we were traveling in the sky for a short amount of time and then softly landed on the ground just overlooking the tents. And then, as before, the teacher spoke about the personality that is Imam Hussain radiallahu ta'ala an. And we sensed that which the earth was feeling, how related to what the teacher mentioned, that they were the pinnacle of humanity on the earth at that time, that the nature the earth, when it interacted with them, sought something from them almost, and for that reason they were especially they especially didn't want to happen what was going to happen. And then we rose to the clouds, and it was as though the clouds were ready to strike down with lightning the enemy army. And then we moved closer, and we heard that which Imam Hussain was making dua for, and it was nothing was about Imam Hussain. It was all about how they wanted the message of their grandfather, Prophet ﷺ, to continue. How they wanted the service and slavehood that humanity could achieve to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to spread across the world. And his du'as still for the enemy at that time to change their approach. And then we got to the day of the battle, and we were getting changed into our armor, etc. And the teacher conversed with Imam Hussain, saying that it is the highest privilege for us to sacrifice ourselves for you. And so then we were on horses and we were charging towards the enemy. And strangely, as we neared the enemy, it was as though I was being pushed backwards. And the harder I tried to move forwards, the more I was being pushed backwards, away from the line of everybody else as they hit the enemy. And then I stopped relying on myself and relied on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then I was able to go forwards again and fight. And then so there was some fighting, and then at one point there was almost a champion from the enemy side that came forward, and I fought with him, and it was as though he represented different challenges such as organs, etc. And it was not as though I was destroying somebody, but rather different challenges. And so then the day ended after I was slain, and then we got to the mazar of Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, and then we entered, and they greeted the teacher, we exchanged salams, and they picked me up, and then said to myself and the teacher, or rather the teacher and I, that I wish to show you something. And so we walked to the back of the mazar, and then it was as though there was a door of light and it led into a palace, and there was the family of Imam Hussain there with the Prophet ﷺ, Imam Ali radiallahu anhu, and Imam Hassan. And Imam Hussain made the point that with a small amount of sacrifice, look at what one can gain. And so emphasizing the need to sacrifice. And then we came back into the mazar of Imam Hussain, and the nasiha that was stressed was reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they placed a clothing, almost like a cloak or a shawl around me, and a turban. And then they placed, as it happened in a previous Muraqabah Hussainiyah as well, hair, I think the blessed hairs around my ears, on my tongue, in my nostrils, and on my head. And then we asked for permission, I think that's what I recall, and then returned back.
MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah, this is a very beautiful experience and a blessing, and from the fuzat of Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu and our blessed teacher. So mashallah, there are many lessons in there, and just a few pointers of guidance that one can take lesson from. Because at the beginning, as Imam Qais has mentioned, that you should ask what is the next step of your journey, and in this form and the guidance there for yourself are many guidance in there. And just a few things that you should take from this is that one should focus on the battle inside, like the teacher Hazrat Sahib has mentioned yesterday, that one should have one's personal battle and then have a public battle. Now personally, one should battle one's own self, one's own desires within oneself privately. So there's a private battle and there is a public battle. And the private battle is the battle within the nafs, the desires that is within ourselves, where no one is with you, only you are you with yourself. When all the doors are shut in your room, this is when you are alone, and this is where the battle takes place privately, when it's between you and your own ego and your own mind and heart. So battling against oneself from committing any sins or desires, or fulfilling any unlawful deeds and desires. So this is the battle that is a lesson for oneself. Placing the hair Mubarak in different limbs of your inner self, like the ears, the tongue. The Prophet ﷺ and Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu are indicating that you should turn these organs into prophetic parts of the Prophet ﷺ, of Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. So the sacrifice should be these limbs for the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal. You see that everyone makes a sacrifice, like all of you brothers have sacrificed to come here to learn and to be in the company of the teacher. It required a little bit of sacrifice, but those who made sacrifice, they have attended. And those who are making sacrifice, they are still able to see and hear the majalises. So your sacrifice should be that whatever is taking you away from Allah and His Messenger ﷺ in your own time, in private home capacity, you should turn that into sacrificing that for the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal. So it's sacrificing your time. So where is your time going? How many hours is a person using or holding their phones, surfing internet? How many hours one is on the phone talking to people that they do not or shouldn't be talking to? How many hours people are going and wandering in towns and cities, still going. Imagine Allah Azza wa Jal has given the virus or the pandemic to make us think and to take time and to improve ourselves. So this is some of the lessons that you should take from this. And to have your private battle and then win in a public battle as well. So publicly is when you benefit others as well, when you help others to win over their battles in a public way, helping them to overcome their sins and desires. When people come to you, it is as though you're helping them defeat shaitan and nafs. So alhamdulillah, many lessons are there for you, and they want you to more focus on the purification and sacrifice the body, mind and heart for the pleasure of Allah, and decorate oneself in the obedience of the clothing that they have given you, the Amama Sharif, the clothing in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu. So when one does this, when they leave and they follow these guidance, inshallah they will become successful. And as it mentioned is tawakkul, to have reliance on Allah Azza wa Jal, because you can only do so much. We can only do whatever is in our capacity. Whatever is in our capacity, that is all Allah Azza wa Jal wants us to do. And the rest you rely on Allah Azza wa Jal. So true reliance is when you have done everything that you have tried to achieve. So you want to get up for Fajr, you have your alarms, you sleep early, you sleep in the state of wuzu, you do your askar, and then you rely that you get up for Fajr as well. That you get up, you use all the means, then you rely. So likewise, everything you should facilitate, you should use the means and then rely on Allah Azza wa Jal for help when you're in need. And one last point is that whenever, in this lesson, is that whenever you are faced with any challenges, you should stop and think, like this battle is coming. Like you've seen, you were facing this huge person, the opposition. This will always be an opposition against us in dunya. And you should think when the sin is coming against you, a thought of sin is coming, someone is inviting you towards sin, you should think and imagine this battlefield. Imagine you are in Karbala, you are with Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu and their blessed family, and the opposition, the sin, the person who's inviting you towards sins, or you have an opinion or option to go towards sin. Imagine this at that time is the army of Yazid. So who do you choose at that very moment of time? And you should bring this thought and this sort of muraqabah at that time and choose, and you choose the army, choose the side of Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu and go on his side, where you reject desires, reject one's nafs, and go towards the path of their prophetic way, inshallah. So inshallah, jazakallah khairan, inshallah, for your feedback.
Please raise your hand.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I have two experiences. One was before the majlis, the Muraqabah, and one was in the Muraqabah. Should I mention both or only the one in the Muraqabah?
Do you start with the one in the Muraqabah?
So I transferred into the teacher, and we travelled and visited Sayyidina Abdul Aziz al-Dabbagh rahimahullah and Sayyidina Abdul Qadir al-Jilani rahimahullah. We then met and we went to visit the tent of Sayyidina Imam Hussain the night before the events of Karbala. Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu ta'ala anhu mentioned, we went and entered the tent with the teacher, and Sayyidina Imam Hussain was crying in sajda, and as they got up they continued to weep, and I asked permission from the teacher to speak to them, and they gave permission. And I said, "Oh Master, what makes you weep?" He rahimahullah said, "I weep for those who have made me their enemy, and I weep seeking Allah's forgiveness, for verily Allah owns my body and my life, and I am only but returning these back to Allah, and I am fearful in what state it returns." Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu ta'ala anhu, after the prayer, took me to the cave of Hira. On the night before the battle, Sayyidina Imam Hussain sat on a seat at the front of an assembly. The entire gathering was full with what appeared to be people of Allah. They wore imamas and faces were glowing. Imam Hussain then addressed the gathering and said, to the nearest meaning, "On this night I ask of all of you who are my spiritual family, do not intercede with any help on what is to come. It is my wish that I confront Yazid without any supernatural support. Verily my grandfather, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, has said," and they quoted a hadith that says that, "I swear by Allah, there is no God but He. One of you may perform the deeds of the people of paradise until there is naught but an arm's length between him and it. When that which has been written will outstrip him so that he performs the deeds of the people of the hellfire. One of you may perform the deeds of the people of the hellfire till there is naught but an arm's length between him and it. When that which has been written will overtake him so that he performs the deeds of the fire, until he performs the deeds of the people of paradise and then enters it." Imam Hussain radiallahu ta'ala then went on to say that we may live a life in servitude of Allah but do not know our ending, and the greatest gift a servant can ask for is a good ending. Upon hearing this, the entire majlis erupted in tears upon hearing this. Suddenly time fast forwarded to what seemed like present time, and the cave was more empty, except that this time it had brothers from Tariqah Muhammadiyah. And Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu ta'ala anhu turned to me and then said, "Strength or true strength is not found in exercising one's power. Strength is found in foregoing one's power when one has a choice. Then Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu ta'ala anhu then turned to the brothers and then said, "O my sons, know that there doesn't go a moment by that I do not wish to be sent back to Karbala, so I may die again in the way of Allah. Do not weep for me. Know that whatever is given in the way of Allah, Allah Azza wa Jal is so much greater. To be gifted a good death is the greatest honor to be received in life."
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Jazakallah for your enlightening experience and guidance. So Alhamdulillah, as you can see the part where Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu is mentioning about in every generations there are special servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who have special duties, like the Aqtabs, the Kutubs, the Ghaus, and so on. So they carry out the duty by the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like for example the angels do. So Sayyidina Imam Hussain obviously is one of the chair of those meetings. He knows the Qudra and the power Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon those such people who exist now, who existed in those times. And he knows that people or the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not able to tolerate such scene and such oppression by the Yazidi forces. So in advance he foretold and warned them not to come and provide any kind of assistance by themselves, whatever power Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted them, because this is a deal between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he knows what he is wishing for, and whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills, he is happy with this. So this is you could say, a more deep, another level or incident we learn from the discourse we heard earlier, like how the animals and everything else wanted to provide help and support. He refused to accept, because these are the, you could say, blessed way of the Anbiyas, like Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam and Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. But the main thing here is that the qualities which they possess and which they want us to understand really and take away from. The sacrifice which they made in the Battle of Karbala, for us, yes, or in our life, when we actually face a Karbala and we fight and overcome that, it is the greatest of achievements. For them, sacrificing their lives or the life of their family and children, that in itself is not a great sacrifice. Rather, what they receive as a result, the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His closeness, certain peace we had, tranquility as they are going through the whole those moments, are far more valuable in their heart than the apparent suffering or oppression which they have to face and go through. So really, one lesson we could take from brothers and sisters who are actually watching and seeing this is that even, alhamdulillah, you all are good Muslims, pious and righteous, but sometimes upheaval, struggles, difficulties come in our life, which makes us worried, makes us scared, makes us anxious. And in those moments, we find it very hard to deal with things. We ask for help, which is good. We should ask for help. We should find a way to resolve that issue. Maybe there's a family issue, dispute, fallout, some kind of accusation coming from outside. And you see as though, my future is bleak now. I will lose my reputation. I will lose my honor, my seat, my job, or whatever it is. And sometimes, you've done everything you can in terms of, going about trying to actually resolve that. You sought help, you adopted all the right means, but yet this case or this issue or whatever problem that you're facing is still there hanging over your head. And that becomes very all-consuming. Day and night we're thinking about this and what will happen to my life, and thinking of all the negative and worst scenarios. So lesson from Sayyidina Imam Hussain, that no matter what you go through personally or collectively as a community, that we cannot be in a worse situation than him. Radiallahu anhum. And even then, what they've shown us is this inner strength that they had tawakkul, as we learned in the daytime, tawakkul and reliance upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that yes, it is an apparent issue at hand, but I have a full faith and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I call upon Him to help us. And then I carry out whatever is in my power as a human being, whatever capability He has blessed us. But then we do not overwhelm ourselves that, oh, what's going to happen, to the point where many of us, we stop doing our work, going to the job, or can't even eat properly. Some people, they lose sleep over it. Some people, they even affect in their worship and prayer, for example, in the daily salah, in the muraqabah, and whatever zikr askar they do. They're completely overwhelmed by this. Oh, I could have done such a beautiful salah and focused on it had this issue had gone away from my life. Well, the thing is, one is to understand, learning from the Sayyidina Imam Hussain and brother Harun was mentioning it, that so sometimes these things happen. We sometimes miss the obvious point or the greater lessons from this, or the inner lessons from this. And these are that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us or training us again and again with those musibah we go through, that we should really turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and have Him to rely upon. As our Lord is the greatest being, who's the greatest power to do so. And in relying on Him, we should be at ease, because He knows as a believer what is best for me. And whatever the outcome it is as a result of that, I am pleased and happy with it. Although apparently it seems as though I'm in a loss. And many of us that we want certain outcomes. This is almost our demand, because I'm in a certain issue, I want an outcome. For some people, I want a good health. Why am I suffering from illness? Why I'm doing all this ibadah, I'm doing tasbihat, I'm doing muraqabah. Why I still have illnesses? Well, you've adopted the means, you took medical help, you've done the healing or whatever means which is allowed and halal. After that, you leave it onto the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whatever the outcome it is, surely it is good for me, although I cannot see it for now, and inshallah I am then becoming pleased. So what that does is it builds this inner resilience, the strength, and not to lose hope. And that you have hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and relying on Him, in Him. And that sometimes, drawing lessons from it is good. Alhamdulillah, we see the scenes, we have an all experience, we have a good dream, good feelings and so on. But sometimes this becomes a distraction, and not to take the life-piercing lessons which can really benefit us or deliver us in time of need. And these are the inspiration and lessons we should think and take for us to benefit from in the real times when we actually come unstuck in something. We can't see, like they say, wood from the trees, and we think, what is really going on. At that moment, that's why in one of the discourses about Hazrat mentioned to the effect, as I remember a little bit, that when you actually adopt, and it says in the Surah Baqarah, for example, you should adopt patience and do salah and turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is basically what it's teaching us is this, that you might look at the issue as the greatest thing in your life now, or obstacle, and it's going to consume your life. So it's like as though we're like a small ant, and for us a pebble is only a small piece of entity, but for an ant is a huge thing. It's like a mountain in front of him. And so when the issue comes in our life, this is how we look at it. Oh, it's a huge issue in my life. How can I overcome that? But if you actually zoom out of this and think, okay, what's bigger than this issue? Maybe there's something else. Maybe the religion of Islam, thinking about akhirah, thinking about angels who are so powerful. With the one wing, they can destroy a whole world, or they can remove everything. Angels are amongst us. Then obviously the prophets and anbiyas, the awliya, especially Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you actually seek your guidance and support from Him, and He's by your side, then no matter what obstacle you face or you see, it's not really a big issue. It's not really a most detrimental thing in your life. It's one of those things that you faced and you will pass through, and you'll overcome this and you move on. at least if you still have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's by your side, He's going to help you. And at the end of the day, if He's still pleased in whatever state I am, and I'm not being punished, or Allah is not displeased with me, then I am pleased and happy, inshallah, and future, will be fine, inshallah, because I rely on Him and I'll be delivered from this issue. So what's happening is you zoom out and you actually focus on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and see from the godly vision to overcome this, whatever obstacle you go through. And so some of the lessons you see in the lives of Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, apparently it was all, we say like doom and gloom, is in the last throes. There's no support coming from anyone, from the human being or the people who supported him. The family, the ladies are there, the children are there in the camp. There's no apparent support or protection for them. Imagine that, in our own situation, for example, in our own homes, if we get to know, or there's actually bad people or gangsters around in my locality, every night they're going and actually they're breaking through the doors and looting everything from the house, and you think, I could be, my house could be next. And you're at home thinking, what shall I do? Are you overwhelmed? We don't even care about Salah on that day. We don't care about what's on TV, or what am I going to eat. It's overwhelming, this fear, what's going to happen? I've got no support, no police will come, no army will come. I have no cousins, no brothers, no one around me. It's only myself, few family members, and the children and the vulnerable people, elderly, for example. You will not think about anything else, or just keep thinking about this incident now. How am I going to save myself and my family? But that's just a very small example. Imagine that the whole nation facing an army of thousands. And imagine the psychological thoughts one must go through. And yet they showed so much resilience and inner strength, which is, we cannot even imagine, the reliance and the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which they've shown. So alhamdulillah, there's many lessons we should take, and that's why it's very important from Brother Harun as related. Also the fact that he showed the humbleness relating the hadith, he's showing what? The no one should take anything for granted. Meaning that, yes, I could be doing work of deen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes, I've got everything going well, I am praying salah, or people say I'm pious and righteous. But we cannot actually take anything for granted, because anything could happen and I might do such deed, and then I end up, for example, a person who qualifies to be hellfire. So the approach of being humble, have humility, and relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and hoping Him to deliver us and to save us, it is one of those best qualities, and the godly qualities and the prophetic qualities which actually been shared here. And that's why we always say that, look, having visions and dreams are good, but really, when we come to the retreat again and again, we should be different people now. We should not be the people like we meet people outside. We learn about paths to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, tazkiyah, purification, which is the personal victory, which Hazrat Sahib has mentioned yesterday. Then there's actually a public victory as well, that we should win over the people and show them the path and benefit them as well, and not become one of them. But unfortunately, coming to the retreat, we learn all this, we have so much guidance and so much, you could say, blessings and gifts are given to us. But when we go back to our homes and in our localities, we fall back, we go back to our own lives, and it's as though we never knew what the retreats are, what the gifts are, what the blessings we received. So we should really ponder upon these lessons. Tazkiyah, the personal victory, is very important to focus on, to change our life, to make these retreats count as a mark of history in my life, that I would make a difference in my life and I'll go back and change the course of it. Not just follow, you could say, the nafs, the ego, the self, the ego, lower self, and the shayateen. Really, because at the end of the day, ultimately, the end goal is to become the miniature, reflective model of attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So like we know all the names of Allah, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Al-Malik, Al-Quddus, these are the attributes, special qualities from the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we learn. As a human being, as a servant of Allah, that at the end we should be really miniature version of those qualities. So for example, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ar-Rahman, is most merciful, what does that demand from His servant, from you and I? That demands that we also become merciful to our own selves and to people around us. So what we are doing, in fact, we are reflecting the attributes and the quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So like we know, for example, 99 names of Allah that we know, mashallah, there are obviously hundreds and thousands and millions of names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we should now go into the process of tazkiyah and the purification and the enlightenment we learn in the retreats, that slowly we actually start to reflect and become the true servant of Allah, the true Abdullah. But in order to reach that level, a seeker like yourselves and we ourselves, we should actually become the miniature model of the guy. We should be a miniature reflective model of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he showed us the way, he showed us the methodology, how to bring about those qualities and how to become the person who reflect those divinely qualities and prophetic character. But even for you and I, this is difficult. If this was the case, Quran is there, Hadith is there, Sunnah is there, full books are there, Sheikh Google is there, but it's not really actually making us those people. It's not making us becoming a role model, a miniature version of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So therefore, to reach that level, what we need to do, people like yourselves and ourselves, that we should become the miniature model of our guide and murshid, who himself is immersed in the prophetic and divine oceans. So that's, they could say, the link, the chain to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that if you want to reflect those qualities, the prophetic characters and the prophetic qualities of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then the murshid, and they're immersed, they're completely swimming in the divine prophetic and divine oceans. So this is really what we need to actually work towards and try to achieve in our life. Once one has achieved this, they should interact with everyone through these attributes only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So once you think you've achieved those qualities or on the road to achieving it, then how you interact with people, you become independent. You always become a godly person, whereby you're not dictated by the customs and the norms of the society, and whether it's Eastern society or the Western society, or whether it's an Asian society or not. You become independent and you're dictated, and you deal with people and interact with them through these divine attributes that you actually acquired, that you implemented and reflected in your life and become a role model of, and only for what? Only for sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the end goals of achieving, inshallah, the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here it's like a roadmap given to yourselves, that even beyond tazkiyah, even beyond this spiritual enlightenment and the visions and spiritual opening, there's far greater thing to achieve. These are the qualities, these are the, you could say, milestones that makes you become spiritually mature, and inshallah one day become the friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. That will not only be enlightened ourselves, but also enlightening others who are around us, inshallah. So these are, like they could say, the full roadmap the Mashaykh and the teacher has actually shared with us and shown us, that step by step, what shall I reach? What should be my goal? Because we especially mentioned to you brothers here and the sisters who are watching, or brothers at home as well, that maybe we've attended retreats after retreats. We attend our Thursday gatherings, we go to Islamic gatherings all the time. Alhamdulillah, I am following the course. Yes, there might be some mistakes here and there. And sometimes, like they say, you get lost in the detail. So sometimes you need to understand and see the bigger picture. Where should be my goal? Yes, visions are good. It helps you to increase your iman, the yaqeen part, increases your conviction, so you become more steadfast. But then slowly it takes you somewhere. Even the salah itself is taking you somewhere. What did they say during the discourse today? If anyone remembers, salah is not the end point of the salah and the fasting and the hajj. They're not the end point. They are what? They're just a starting point. So then, did not question come to your mind? So what is the end point then? Did anyone ask that to yourself? So that's why awliya, karam, what they do is, in the mashayikh, they take you and for the end point and the end purpose of our existence as well. And really, what's this mentioned, and this is obviously not from I'm just relating what we've been taught to share with yourselves, is this. As well as maintaining Islamic principles and observing it, the halal and the avoiding the haram, that really we should be the one who actually can emulate and become miniature versions of reflecting the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in order to do that, then there's a process, methodology. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his way, his sunnah, his attribute, his prophetic qualities and character, and for us then, the guide, the murshid, to mimic them and to miniature version of them, and to actually reflect their qualities because they're immersed in the prophetic and the divine oceans. That becomes our objective, to reach our overall objective as well, inshallah. And so this tazkiyah process that we go through, and the purification and the enlightenment and this retreat and opening, they're all part of that process. Remember, they're not the goal themselves, they're the means to an end. That's why you heard yesterday when Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu guidance, Hazrat Sahib was mentioning that tazkiyah itself is not the full purpose, and fulfilling your purpose or the real reason why you're doing it for. That's just a part of it. Second part is then fully manifesting that and supporting and helping others. My words now I'm mentioning in my own words and meaning. That is how you actually manifest and help the ummah, help the society and the family at large, wherever you can, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The only way you can do that at the highest level possible for individual, for ourselves, is by reflecting those qualities, inshallah. Without that, then it's not possible. You'll always find yourself falling back. It's not really happening, or you don't have the motivation. You don't have the understanding how to do so. You're always thinking about I'm thinking about myself only and no one else. So inshallah, I hope this raises our, aspirations, our goal, and really to actually work through this and to achieve these things, inshallah. Jazakallah. Sorry for taking longer than necessary, but I thought I'd just relate one or two things, inshallah.
Please raise your hand if you would like to give your feedback now. As you can see, one person's feedback is a benefit for everybody else who learns from that experience.
Mention that rest means rest, or else we won't be sleeping till 5, 6 o'clock, and people will be dozing off in food and this time.
Inshallah, we'll have a tea break now, and then you can have a little bit of a rest. And even we do rest, please do rest, because otherwise you'll be sleeping throughout the day and during majlis and during the discourses. So now inshallah we'll go for a tea.